Hey friends, so I decided to turn my two-point perspective demo into a quick little video here so that way you can watch and if you ended up missing a box or two or if you just want to see the demo again, it's here for you. So first off, as we start all of these drawings, we start with a horizontal line that goes across the page. This is called the horizon line. So that is where the sky meets the ground. Everything above that line is the sky. Everything below is the ground. And so next what I'm doing is I'm adding 2 points on either end of this. So in perspective drawing, we always use something called a vanishing point. And in 2-point perspective, we actually use two of those points. So we have one on either end of this line. We want to make sure that they're pretty far apart from each other. And we're going to start up a box. So next we're starting with a vertical line going down. And what we're going to do is we are going to add 4 lightly drawn lines. Using your ruler, 4 lightly drawn lines that connect to both vanishing points. So you see here I'm doing the 2 on the right. And then we're going to connect them all the way to the vanishing point on the left. So there we go, good. So we have sort of the foundations of the box here, and we have these faces of the box that are getting smaller as they're going backwards. But we need to complete the box. So we're going to draw 2 vertical lines, one on the left and one on the right. So this is the part where we get to decide how big we want our box to be. So I could have made it thin there. I could have made it a bit longer here, but ultimately I'm thinking I'm going to make it somewhere in the middle. I kind of want to make this a medium-sized box. So I have a vertical line to the left and a vertical line to the right. And it doesn't really matter where you place them. The way that the box is constructed is the same. It works no matter where you put those lines, but it's important that they're vertical. So next, we're going to draw lines connecting them to the opposite vanishing points. So that left vertical line connects to the right vanishing point, and that one on the right connects to the left. And so that is essentially our box, and I'm going to darken it up here for us. So there we go, good. So we're darkening up the edges of the box. So we're essentially figuring out which stuff we want. We want the actual box, right? So we're going to darken that stuff up, but we don't necessarily want all of those lines. So we're going to get rid of those in a moment. All of those guidelines that lead us to those vanishing points are temporary. That's why we draw them light, right? So we're going to get rid of that line, this line, all of those red lines. And again, anytime you see a line that's red, it's a line that we are planning on getting rid of at least part of it. So notice that the horizon line, that line that's going to stay there for the entire drawing, is red. There's a reason for that we're going to get to later. So for now, we're getting rid of all of these guidelines we just drew. And there's our first box. We have it there. I'm just going to come back in here and get rid of all of this little chatter here that's kind of taking up space. But there's our first box. So we have a box underneath the horizon on the ground. So our next box is going to be a little different though. We're going to place it up in the sky, and we're going to start it the exact same way. We're going to start with a vertical line, and we are going to draw 4 lines that connect to those previously established vanishing points. Those vanishing points never change. They always stay in the exact same spot. So we're going to connect 2 on the left and 2 on the right. There we go. So we have those 4 lines there. We're going to add 2 vertical lines. Again, we're establishing how big we want our box to be. Again, I'm kind of making a medium-sized box. And so next, the bottom of those lines we just drew are going to connect to the opposite vanishing points. And again, if this is moving too fast for you, you can always rewind this video or slow down this video. I'm pretty sure we can do, because I know that we are moving very quickly here. But I figure if it's in video form, we can always go back and figure out, well, wait, what is Mr. Corey doing here? And we can, sort of figure it out if we look at it a couple times. So at this point, I'm just darkening up the edges of this box again. I'm deciding what I want to keep. Notice that these boxes have 3 faces, right? There's One where we can see the underneath the bottom facing part of the box, and then we can see two sides of the box. And the same is true for the one on the right? We're able to see the sides of the box, but instead of seeing the bottom, we're seeing the top. So the last box we're going to draw in just a minute is a little different than these, and I like to tell students that we save the easiest one for last. These ones are more difficult than the last kind we're going to do. But those first two lines we started for the last two boxes, we're not crossing the horizon line. So for the last one, we're going to draw a vertical line that crosses the horizon line. It's literally on top of that line, and it's vertical. It's going straight up and down, just like those first ones. So we're going to connect the tops and bottom of that line to the vanishing point on the right, and we're going to connect it on the left as well. And again, remember, anytime you see red line here, that indicates to us that is a lightly drawn line. We don't want to make that super heavy. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to draw two vertical lines connecting those lines we just did. And so once that is all set, we can start to not only define this box, but we can erase all of the lines we don't need. But let's erase those lines first, because I find them a little distracting. So we're getting rid of the two on the left there. And we're getting rid of these two on the right. And you'll notice that the horizon line crosses this box. And we actually want to get rid of those little parts where the horizon line crosses. So that's why we draw the horizon light. We don't want to keep it forever. Well, we do, but we don't want to keep that part of it, right? The horizon line never changes. But there are some moments where we might want to erase parts of it. So next, I'm just going to firm up the edges of this box. And there are three boxes. And at this point, this is where we kind of get to be creative and decide what we want to turn these boxes into. So some students like turning them into cardboard boxes, or sometimes even like gifts or presents, depending on, we have the holidays coming up. So some people are doing that. Some people are turning them into houses. And that's actually what I'm going to do here first, is I'm going to make a little door. And I can create a roof here. I'm going to create sort of a triangle shape on the top of the house. And I'm going to, so you'll notice here, you could try and figure out the angle of the house at the top. I'm going to show you here the incorrect and the correct way. So here, I'm not really doing anything in particular. I'm kind of just guessing. That's incorrect. I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to, using a light red line, connect it to the vanishing point, because the top of the house also, follows the exact same rules of 2-point perspective as the cubes that we drew. So we're erasing those lines. We don't need them anymore. And I'm going to firm up the top of my house. And there, you could turn a box into a house if you want to. This box down here, I'm going to draw even just a vertical line there. Makes it so it looks like we can see the inside of the box. Maybe it's a toy chest. Maybe it's the inside of a cardboard box. Up here, I decided to turn this one into a flying cardboard box. And I kind of added the two little flaps that you'd see on cardboard boxes. We mostly just want to have fun with this, and at this point, you can add things like color, you can add other details like trees or mountains, whatever you want to sort of define this area. And that's essentially how we draw the three boxes using 2-point perspective. We have the one that sits below the horizon line on the right, the one that sits above the horizon line on the left, and then we have that middle box that sits right on top of it. The horizon line crosses through it. So I hope that this was helpful for anyone who might be confused, and if you need any help, please feel free to reach out to me on Google Classroom. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.